The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista.
Welcome back to the 17 News at Sunrise podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
And good morning, Kern County. It is 5 a.m. on this Thursday morning. I'm Alex Fisher. We begin this morning with new video of a high-speed pursuit on the I-5. Bakersfield police say it all started when a homeless man stole a car. The pursuit comes to a sudden end, though, in Santa Clarita. So a few moments later, the suspect got out and surrendered. No one was hurt. Turning to your 17 Court Watch, and a former CHP officer accused of attempting to meet a teen for sex has been found guilty.
We, the jury, have found to try the above entitled case, find the defendant, Brian Pardue, guilty of felony to wit, contacting or attempting to contact a minor with intent to commit sexual offense.
The verdict was greeted with a loud gasp from the courtroom, followed by tears from family and friends of Brian Pardue. He was arrested in 2020 for exchanging sexually graphic messages on a dating app with a person claiming they were 16. The other person was actually an investigator operating as a decoy. A jury found Pardue guilty yesterday. He will be sentenced next month. Pardue must register as a sex offender for the rest of his life, and he could get prison time as well. Pardue's lawyers argued their client believed he was communicating with an adult, but the prosecution told jurors that Pardue continued to engage in sexually explicit talk even after being told the decoy was 16. Pardue's conviction is, by law, automatically appealed. We have new numbers from local fire crews who were busy all month with firework-related calls. They have received nearly 6,000 reports of illegal fireworks since June 1st. The Emergency Communications Center says there were more than 1,200 calls to 911 on the 4th of July alone, with crews dispatched to nearly 400 emergency incidents, and nearly half of those were for fires. CHP says a total of 28 people were arrested in Kern County on suspicion of driving drunk over the extended holiday weekend, but officers say there were no deadly crashes during the agency's maximum enforcement period in our area. That maximum enforcement period started on Friday evening. It lasted through the 4th of July. Statewide, however, there were more than 1,200 DUI arrests and 34 deadly crashes. Making headlines around the nation, and a big mystery at the White House. An investigation is underway to figure out who brought a small bag of cocaine into the West Wing. Kelly O'Donnell has the latest.
A Secret Service investigation is focused just steps beyond those iconic West Wing doors to find out who had access to this secure area and left behind an illegal drug in a small plastic baggie. Test results confirm it was cocaine, officials say. Found Sunday night in a common area where staff and visitors store personal belongings like cell phones before stepping closer to the heart of the president's office space.
The president thinks it's very important to get to the bottom of this.
Sources familiar with the investigation say the baggie is still at the lab to determine if fingerprints or DNA can be detected and to do a full chemical analysis of the contents. Investigators are also reviewing video surveillance and visitor logs.
When people visit the West Wing, there is the area of the West Wing where it is highly traveled, and that is what happens. People come through this particular area, it's highly traveled.
The West Wing lobby is often included in private tours led by White House employees. Officials say those tours were done Friday, Saturday, and Sunday before the baggie was found. The Biden family was at Camp David.
Let the Secret Service do their job. It's under their purview.
Officials point out that all White House visitors are screened to detect weapons or dangerous chemicals that could be used to harm others.
In other court news, a 21-year-old man has admitted to engaging in sex acts with a teen girl he met on a video game platform, Roblox. In new court documents, Daniel Diaz told officers the girl never told him her age, but he believed she was a minor due to her, quote, small appearance. Police say the girl was in fact 14 years old. Diaz was arrested last week after a relative of the girl reported finding her and Diaz in the back seat of his car cuddling. Based on a search of his home, Police believe Diaz was in communication with other people via Roblox. Diaz has pleaded not guilty to several charges, including statutory rape. He is due back in court later this month. A man accused of breaking into a historical restaurant in Bakersfield last week made his first appearance in court. Police say Cesar Ramos broke several windows at Luigi's. Officers were around the corner and arrived at the restaurant before Ramos was able to steal anything. He pleaded not guilty yesterday to a charge of attempted burglary. He also has a warrant out of New York for a robbery charge. Luigi's employees told 17 News the restaurant has to deal with dozens of broken windows every year, and they're pleading with the city to provide more police patrols in the area. Well, after the 4th of July came the dreaded 5th of July. That is a day when our local animal shelters are overrun with lost pets that were spooked by fireworks. We have been reporting on how the shelter is already overcrowded. At the Bakersfield Animal Care Center alone, 25 new dogs entered the shelter yesterday. Overall, 6 dogs were returned to their owners and another 6 were rescued or adopted. However, 9 dogs were euthanized. Some Bakersfield residents say the fireworks are out of control, and not just during the 4th of July.
Fireworks situation is not like 4th of July thing. This is every day, single fireworks, every single once a week, twice a week, every year, the whole season, a year. That's fireworks to me. It's not a tradition.
City and county shelters are waiving fees this week for owners who reclaim their lost pets. The city shelter asks if you find a stray dog, first try to locate the owner through social media or the Paw Boost database before surrendering it to the shelter. We continue to talk about the Sierra snowmelt, and Isabella Lake's water level is still up after those incredibly hot temperatures we saw over the weekend. Right now, the lake is at an astonishing 89% capacity. We have not seen the lake that full in some 18 years. More water continues to flow in. That is all according to reports from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, operators of the Isabella Dam. And while there is still some snow in our mountains, it is quickly melting away in the summer heat. The latest reports from the National Weather Service show only 9% of the Sierras are covered in snow as of today. A month ago, it was nearly 30%. In the past 48 hours, crews have been busy rescuing people from the Kern River.
Good morning, Alex. And that's right. Just 48 hours ago, 2 men were able to get themselves out of the river. However, yesterday, one woman did need assistance.
The river might look calm at times, but do not be fooled. The extremely fast current underneath is what makes the Kern County River deadly.
It's been a busy time for us. We've responded. The City of Bakersfield Fire has had 10 different incidents where we responded to swiftwater rescue calls. We've rescued 11 different individuals out of the river this year, and that's just us. Kern County Search and Rescue has done more than that.
And with the Sierra snowmelt, the water is freezing. Even within the recent triple-digit temperatures, there's still a huge risk for hypothermia. Kern County Sheriff deputies responded to a call of a woman stuck on an island in the river near Adolphus Avenue yesterday, taking 2 hours to complete the rescue. The woman was further taken into the hospital to ensure no further injuries took place.
So just stay out of the river. It's especially this year, it's dangerous. You're taking your life in your own hand if you go into the river this year, so just stay out.
And just this past Monday, me and my associate producer, Eliza, we saw 3 individuals inner tubing down Kern County River. This is extremely dangerous. They didn't have any life preservers or life jackets on, and this means that you as a viewer need to tell your friends and family, stay out of the Kern County River, especially if they're coming from out of town. Near Kern County River, I'm Aaliyah Fitzgerald.
And it was a major victory for Governor Gavin Newsom after the legislature approved his proposal to speed up infrastructure projects across our state. Capitol correspondent Eitan Wallace has a closer look at Newsom's plan, plus reaction from lawmakers.
Well, in a rare instance, Democrats and Republicans here at the state legislature agree with the governor that key infrastructure projects across the state have been held up too long due to California's lengthy environmental review process. But after today's vote, they hope that changes. The final vote, 39-0. Democrats and Republicans in the state Senate putting their differences aside to support one of Governor Gavin Newsom's longtime priorities to speed up key infrastructure projects across the state.
So we got that done.
It all stems from Governor Newsom's proposal in May to reform the California Environmental Quality Act, more commonly known as CEQA. According to his office, it generally requires state and local governments to inform decision makers and the public about the potential environmental impacts of proposed projects. The goal is to reduce those environmental impacts as much as possible.
Hey guys.
Newsom said he agrees with CEQA in principle, but argues lawsuits and a lengthy permitting process have long delayed the construction of key infrastructure projects, especially those aligning with his climate agenda to make the state more reliant on clean energy and battery storage. The governor expressing frustration that some lawsuits have held up projects for several months and in some cases, years.
I hear that all the time. Why is it taking so long?
And the legislature seems to agree, voting in favor of his multi-bill infrastructure package, including SB 149. It seeks to limit the amount of time many infrastructure projects can be held up for environmental reviews in court to no more than 270 days to the extent possible. Members of both parties weighing in.
It's imperative that the environmental review and planning process proceeds as efficiently as possible without sacrificing the public's ability to participate fully.
Tactical solutions on all areas, on energy, on buildings, on ag and cows, on transportation.
I'm happy for this first step forward and appreciate the author for bringing forward specifically infrastructure projects will help the Central Valley continue to feed our nation.
I think the voters and me wanted to see above ground storage.
GOP Senator Scott Wilkes says he supports the governor's efforts to streamline infrastructure, but wishes the Newsom administration included projects to capture and store water above the ground. Wilkes spoke with us one-on-one.
40 million people here. Our infrastructure is really set up for about 20 million. And so we've got to do all we can to expedite these infrastructure projects.
And the infrastructure package now heads to the governor's desk. He's out of the state this week, but he's expected to sign it later this month. Reporting from the state capitol, Eitan Wallace, 17 News.
The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.